Back in 2008, EA decided to have their studio, Visceral Games, create the most terrifying horror game of all time, or at least that was the goal. They came up with something that was inspired by classic games like Resident Evil, movies like Solaris, and that game was called Dead Space. 3 games later, it became, in my opinion, one of the premier trilogies of the Xbox 360 and PS3 eras. It won several awards and is considered by many people to be one of the greatest video games, especially horror video games, ever made. Now, EA decided to shut down Visceral Games for whatever reason, but back in 2023, they decided to have a different studio, Motive, remake this absolute classic game. We follow this character named Isaac Clarke, who is an engineer as he traverses the USG Ishimura. I think I'm saying that right, but if I'm not, I apologize. Now, the Ishimura is this massive ship that has been taken over by these weird, zombie-like creatures called necromorphs, and as we try to track down our wife, Nicole, and figure out what the hell happened on this ship, it is insane. This game is really good, but we're going to get into that later. There are 48 trophies in this game, including that beautiful platinum trophy, and all of these, guys, we earned them live over on my Twitch and YouTube channel. The game has dismemberment, horror survival aspects, it's got the whole shebang. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And kicking things off, we got our first trophy for dismembering 15 limbs, which, if you know this game, guys, it's just the warm-up. Now, this game has a trophy for each chapter, so instead of just saying, oh, I completed chapter so-and-so, like I did for Red Dead, for example, I'm going to try and give a short description of each chapter to sort of give you guys an idea of what is going on in each point in the game. To the best of my recollection, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I platinumed this game a couple months ago at this point. I'm just bad at making videos. Chapter 1 introduces us to Isaac, and we arrive on the Ishimura to investigate a distress signal. The moment we land, everything goes to hell, we get attacked by some necromorphs, communications go down, and Isaac gets separated from the crew. And that's trophy 2. Now, shortly after, I pinned an enemy to the wall. I ripped off a limb using kinesis, which is like this special ability that Isaac gets with his suit. One of 2, because the other one is stasis, which freezes them. And then chapter 2 is our next trophy, which takes us deeper into the medical deck. Now, we look for the ship's captain to get his rig, which is like basically his access codes, is how like my brain understands it. We also started to see hallucinations or like some sort of hologram of Nicole, which is Isaac's wife. And this adds this little psychological edge to the horror of this game. And then we move into chapter 3, which shifted focus to the ship's fuel systems, restoring the engines and fighting off tons of necromorphs in this like cramped zero gravity area. We fought our first brute, which is this huge tanky bastard that feels like I want to say probably the first real test or real boss of the game. Chapter 4 brought us to the bridge of the ship where we have to launch a distress beacon. Well, the ship's orbital defense system is attempting to kill us. We began working on combat trophies like 30 kills with a pulse rifle and then 30 more with the Ripper. Chapter 5 is where we continue, and I think this is where like the horror of it kind of really goes full in. I used stasis on 50 enemies along the way, and I gathered 75 logs to piece together just how far this ship had fallen from grace. And then we came across one of the most memorable fights in the game. And really, when I said that the last thing, the Brute, was the first boss fight, I think technically the Leviathan is the first like boss fight in the game. It's this like huge, grotesque tentacle mass that tries to drag you into space. And it's a really cool fight. We wrap up chapter 6, which ends with Isaac being forced to vent the entire section of the ship out into space. I dismembered a total of 500 limbs, and then we moved to chapter 7. However, as a heads up, for the next 20 or so trophies, I lost the original stream footage, but I have actual footage of the trophies popping from my PlayStation, so that's what we're going to get through, so we're going to like try to fly through this. Now, moving on to chapter 8, we took down the last remnants of the Leviathan. Well, it kept itself stuck to the outside of the ship, completing chapter 8 by defeating those exact remnants and then prepping a shuttle to try escaping. And then I tried to survive the shooting gallery, where we get attacked by a ton of necromorphs. Chapter 9 is where things start to really unravel with like hallucinations, death of our crew, making that small crew that we have shrink even more. And then I finished a full game of Zero Gravity Basketball, which is another fun little mini game, which gives you a break from the stress and horror outside of a couple of creatures trying to attack you throughout. Now, combat-wise, I cleaned up 30 line gun kills, collected every weapon in the game. I created the Master Security Override, which is part of a side quest. I stored 25 items just for inventory sanity, because why not? Then I got 30 kills with the flamethrower as we fought through chapter 10, which is basically Isaac losing like everything. Dude lost his crew, he lost his sanity, and we picked up what's called the ping treasure. Now, I don't know if this is a reference to anything, but you know, we got it. I added 30 kills each with the force gun and the contact beam for 2 more trophies. Then I killed 10 enemies by stomping on them just for good measure, and by now I had 150 logs collected, which is trophy 33. I uncovered the origins of the Hunter, which is this like sick experiment gone wrong, and we also got to kill him, which is always a plus. I followed Nicole's investigation trail, which leads us to sort of get some background on what she was doing on this ship, and then I wrapped up chapter 11, which ended with Isaac preparing to shuttle one final time. We get to fight the Hive Mind, and if we beat it, the final boss of the game, by the way, we get trophy 37. It's a big, gross, disgusting thing, and it's kind of cool, but we did beat its ass to get that nice trophy for beating the game. And there we go. Exodus for chapter 12. Now we got to move into New Game Plus for a couple trophies. First things first, we grabbed our first marker fragment, which is part of collecting all of those for the alternate ending, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I collected every schematic, and I installed every single weapon upgrade. After grabbing all 12 fragments, I unlocked the alternate ending, which has Isaac, instead of escaping, he gets completely consumed by the marker's influence, carves symbols into the cockpit of the shuttle, and now with his dead wife's like hallucination, he prepares, and I quote, to build something new. It's creepy, it's ambiguous in all the right ways, and I don't know what the hell it means considering we're not getting a remake of the sequel. Then I beat the game on another playthrough using only the plasma cutter, which is the starting weapon. And honestly, I think it's probably one of the best weapons in the game, especially because I did it on New Game Plus, which is another trophy, and on a difficulty above medium. I think I just did it on medium, if I'm being honest, for trophy 45. I've fully upgraded all of the weapons, and then for our last trophy before the platinum, I had to complete impossible mode, which is basically permadeath. You get one save slot, no second chances. If you die, your save gets deleted. You have to start from the beginning. It's Dead Space's hardcore mode, essentially. And it's as intense as it sounds, man. I cannot express to you guys how long it took me to do this, but doing it got me trophy 47. And with that, of course, we got the beautiful, beautiful platinum trophy. So, as always, let's talk about our final thoughts. My final thoughts on this game are, honestly, it's an okay game. I think if I had gotten to play the original, maybe I would have more of an appreciation for this game, potentially. Because the remake, I just don't see, I guess, what the hype was about. It's not like Mass Effect, right? I played Mass Effect, which I'd say is probably one of the other big trilogies of that Xbox 360, PS3 era, if not the big trilogy, outside of maybe Fable and Halo. I feel like those are the only ones I could think of that were like big trilogies back then. There's definitely more. I just can't think of them. But I played Mass Effect, and for me, that was like, damn, that game is amazing. I could see exactly why it's popular. I could see all that. And I don't know if the remake just doesn't capture the spirit of Mass Effect, if that makes sense, or what the deal is. I don't know why it's just not, for me, clicking. I'm not sure. It's a really weird feeling. I almost feel bad that I'm not seeing what's so awesome about this, and that saddens me, because I really want to understand what about this is the thing that is like, what is making this so good for the people that are playing this game? Why did people get as connected to Dead Space as they did? I don't understand. Like, I enjoyed the game. Let me be clear. I really did enjoy Dead Space. I think it's a great atmosphere. I think Isaac's a fun character, if not necessarily, at least at this point, a like complex or deep character. I think the twist with his wife makes sense. I think that it was well done. I think the villains are cool. When I say villains, I think the monsters are cool. I think I like every aspect of this game, if that makes sense. But the game itself just didn't click for me, and I don't know if it's because it was the remake. And I just realized I don't know how long I've been rambling here. I don't fully understand what made this good, and that saddens me. But at the same time, I'm not the person who needs to enjoy it, because ultimately, the people who this game is for are the people who love Dead Space. I think rating-wise, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this because it might be one of my lower ratings. Although I also feel like I'm pretty generous with ratings half the time. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. I think a solid 70%, 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it, but it's not a game I would ever go back for. You know what I mean? I might go play the original because I think it's on Game Pass. But other than that, I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys thought of the game down in the comments below. For me, it was sort of a, meh. I could have cared less if, if I play it again, I'd be shocked. I can't think of any world in which I'm going to go out of my way to play it again. But yeah, I don't know, man. I wish that I could get the enjoyment out of it that other people did. I'm glad people got to enjoy it. I think it's kind of fucked up. If they would ever remake Dead Space 2, I would play that for sure. Just to continue the story. But overall, I don't have any interest in continuing Dead Space unless it's the OG. Sorry, my phone. Yeah, sorry, I'm saying a lot, but yeah, I think that's really it. If you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know down in the comments below what other games you'd like to see me platinum. I got so many that are completed that I need to make videos of. I'm just being lazy. I love your faces. Please come join us live on stream. I try to hit 12 p.m. CST right now, almost every single day. If you are in my Discord server, which I don't know if the link is in the description below. If it's not, it's on my Twitch. I post a schedule weekly as to when I'm going to be streaming. And yeah, we're working on a few games right now for fun, including Hollow Knight, Devil May Cry, other games. Overall, I love your faces. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Please like, subscribe, etc. Bye-bye.